Thousands of patients may be waiting months for NHS operations here, unaware they could get quicker treatment in Europe and get the money back from the health service. BBC Wales can exclusively reveal that fewer than 31 people in Wales have applied to find out if they're eligible. It's led to calls for more to be done to raise public awareness. Our health correspondent Owain Clarke has the story.
Well, this is the evidence of the procedure,
the
complete hip replacement.
After being diagnosed with arthritis, Anne Botterill from Cardiff was told she'd have to wait over a year for a hip replacement. Frustrated and in pain, she decided to ask whether or not her local health board would be willing to pay for treatment in Belgium.
I went to my GP, that was my starting off point. I said I'd heard of this scheme. He had never heard of it. And he didn't sound confident that I would get any money back from the health board, but he told me who to contact. I filled out the forms and I was given permission to go ahead.
All in all, Anne paid £9,000 for surgery and a 5-night hospital stay in Ghent. She reclaimed £6,500 back from Cardiff and the Vale Health Board, the cost of the treatment on the NHS. If she'd gone privately in the UK, she says she'd have faced a bill of £12,500, unable to reclaim any of it.
If you're suffering from a particular ailment and you would prefer to be treated abroad, then you have the right to do that. Of course, for certain more expensive and more intensive treatments involving an overnight stay, for example, you must get prior authorisation from your local health board.
The rules allow for treatment at either a public or a private hospital and state the Welsh Government and the NHS should provide easily accessible information to patients about their options. But it appears not many people know about this. BBC Wales can reveal there have been fewer than 31 requests across Wales from patients to be reimbursed for treatment in the EU in 3 years. The majority were approved. The highest number were in Cardiff and the Vale Health Board. From 11 requests, it paid 9 patients back for treatment, including treatment for trauma, orthopaedics, dental, urology, spinal trauma and ENT at hospitals in Poland, Belgium, Bulgaria, Austria and Slovakia. So what if more people followed Anne's lead? Especially considering that more than 17,000 patients here, according to the latest stats, had been waiting at least 9 months for hospital treatment.
When I would hear very often your broadcasts on BBC Wales about waiting lists and about the struggle of health authorities to cope with the demands, particularly for elective surgery, which is the case here, I would be quite frustrated and angry that there wasn't a better understanding and more of a public debate about whether Europe, the movement of patients across Europe, could be part of the solution.
For Philip Jones from Ammanford, just getting around the house is a challenge. Last year we brought you Philip's story. He was angry that his hip operation had been delayed. He finally had surgery in February, after he claims having to wait for 15 months in pain.
Are you saying that I could have gone 6 months before I had my operation, had this done in a perfectly normal hospital in Northern Europe, and it would have been paid for by my health authority?
Potentially, yes, to the price that it would have cost the NHS here to pay for it.
Well, that would have been fantastic.
Being able to reclaim for quicker treatment in Europe, according to the Botterill family, mean they once again can enjoy life. But it's a choice not suitable for everyone. Not everybody can stump up thousands of pounds up front. Travel and accommodation costs aren't included, and it's unclear whether you'd be covered by travel insurance. So all in all, patients are encouraged by the Welsh Government to check with the NHS before making any arrangements. This family did and benefited. But how many others even know that they have the option?
Well, thousands of people on waiting lists will be watching that, wondering, why didn't I know about this?
Very good question. This, by the way, is a public information leaflet produced by the Welsh NHS, which does set out quite clearly what patients could or may be entitled to. But from what I've found out today, not many patients have read it, and arguably even medical professionals. So I think it's fair to say the NHS isn't shouting from the rooftops about this. Neither is the Welsh Government. But I've got to say the situation is exactly the same in England. Now, one theory is that, let's say you're a hospital doctor working in the NHS, you do a little bit of private work outside that, then you could argue that you might might not want to push this too hard for fear of sending away potential customers. Saying that, the rules do allow people to come to Wales from elsewhere in Europe if they want to. Now, I was talking to an NHS insider this morning who told me the NHS might be missing a trick here in not publicising this as a way of tackling long waiting times. You know, that's one argument. We'll find out exactly how long the waiting times are on Thursday when the latest stats are announced.
We'll talk to you then. Owain Clarke, thank you very much.